Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So my name is Prince Kutchler and it has been about a year now since I started playing the piano. I thought, I originally started this making videos just to basically keep progress so I could look back and say, every time I feel down I could look back and say, look look where I was and look where I am now. So basically I wouldn't lose motivation because I knew if I wasn't going to do that, I would lose motivation. But it's been quite a long journey so far. Obviously, like I said, it's been 1 year. And it's been quite a good year, to be fair. I mean, the first 8-9 months or so, I was actually playing, very, very regularly. I thought I made a lot of progress. And then about 2 months ago, I had a lot of things to do, a lot of work to do in terms of, for university and whatnot. So I was kind of busy. And since then, for a month or so, I didn't really make any progress or little progress. But since then, I think I've made quite a good amount of progress. So that's where we are right now. We are in December, close enough to January. I mean, there's only like 7 days or so left. So we're quite close. And here's just what I've been up to since the beginning. And like I said, I think overall, I think I did pretty well. Now the targets, I guess, while talking about the past, you should also look forward to the future. And I think that for the future, there are a few things that I want to do. There are a few things that ultimately I want to get to, but I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say I started originally with the Alfred's all-in-one course for adult beginners. Level 1, and overall I thought it was a pretty good book. It teaches you like the basics, literally from the very beginning until how you can read notes, and then it shows you how to count notes, it shows you how to do this and that and that, and ultimately I thought it was a very, very good book. However, halfway through, not about halfway through, about about 3/4 through, I thought this is just getting a bit too repetitive, because obviously it gives you music that is just constantly going, that's constantly more difficult and more difficult, so it's gradually increasing in difficulty. But I just thought, what, instead of playing the songs from in here, I want to do my own thing. I want to look at different songs, and I want to play different pieces as well for that are more, I guess you could say, more musically. So I kind of abandoned this book halfway through, only to ultimately come back to it just so I could have it complete. So that wouldn't be a complete waste of that wouldn't be a complete waste of money, because I thought, if I'm only 3/4 through, I might as well do the last quarter. And I did the last quarter in about 3 weeks or so. So overall, I thought, like I said, I thought overall this book was very, very good. If you're a total beginner, I think this book is probably the best book to get. I've heard a lot of the Faber and Faber series, and like I said, I can't really make a judgment because I haven't got them myself. Like I said, this one, it gets a little bit repetitive. It really depends on, are you going to sit through it? If you are, if you think that you're a pretty dedicated person, if you want to learn about every single thing, then I think this book is very, very good in that regard. And it doesn't just explain everything to you, it also throws you right into there. So even if you don't know much, so even if you only know a little and you can only remember a little, you'll still be able to use that little knowledge to apply it to this book. So that's what I think. That's probably a very, very good purchase to do. Obviously, I'm only speaking from personal experience here, but I thought this book helped me quite a lot. After the book, I went to a few different independent songs and whatnot, from like simplified versions of the more popular songs such as Moonlight Sonata and Ode to Joy, which I thought, I'll leave the website in the description down below, but I ultimately thought that was pretty helpful. That was pretty helpful as well, just because it kind of made me appreciate other music as well. It kind of made me, look at more difficult version of pieces. So that was very helpful, just because, I was able to be like, okay, you know what? I'm able to apply the knowledge I've gained from this to other pieces, and that is very, very important, But then I started with this, and this to this day has been the death of me. Scales, chords, and arpeggios. I haven't really gotten to cadences, but scales, chords, and arpeggios. I mean, chords are pretty simple to a degree. Scales, however, I wish I would have put more time into scales. I really do. At the beginning, I did a lot of scales, and even to this day, I do a lot of scales. But there was like there was a period where I stopped doing scales for about a month or two, and I really regret that. I really regret that because ultimately, scales, it just help you with your fluency, and I think it really helped me as well with my not just with my fluency, but also with my I don't know what you call it, but with my weight control. I guess I don't really know how to describe that. Basically playing more smoothly, playing the pianissimo, quieter, playing the forte more louder and everything like that. So I kind of feel like scales really help you create an even balance, and I think you really need to learn scales as early as possible, because obviously it's not a thing that you can just develop overnight. These are things that you have to spend you have to spend a year or 2 or 3 on just to get to a good level, and obviously then you want to get it to a great level. But also ultimately, I think those are essential. In terms of this book, I mean, you can find a lot of free scales thing online. There are so many things that you can find online in terms of scales, but yeah, I like this book. I like this book for one reason. I can see how people will get turned off by this book, but I like it because it is very, very, very in detail. So if you buy that book, you basically have a book for everything. It goes like, let's take C major, right? Just because it's right at the beginning. And you look at C major, right? So you have the normal scales in parallel motion here. Then you have it in contrary motion. Then you have it in parallel motion in thirds and 10th. Then you have it in parallel motion in 6th. And then you have it in C major triad root position. You can just see 2 pages worth. And that's for every single scale. That's why I really, really like this book, because it's just so in-depth. Obviously, you could just... I'd say the parallel motion and octaves is probably the most important one to learn. And obviously, a lot of people, when they see 2 pages full of scales and whatnot, they're like, "No, I'm not doing that." But I recommend it. Even if you, like, for example, for me, I mainly just do the parallel motions and octaves, and even that's very helpful because it has the fingering there, it has everything there, and at the beginning it explains how a scale is formed and whatnot, and it also has the circle of fifths right at the beginning. It's a very, very helpful book. It's very, very comprehensive, and I think it's not that expensive, which is obviously a huge important thing. I would definitely recommend. I mean, like I said, you can find online sources, and if you find good online sources, then obviously use that. But if you want a book that is very, very comprehensive, I think this is probably the best book you can get. Obviously, it's the only book I've tried, but from what I've said, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, this is probably the best book that you can get. I mean, halfway through, more like, yeah, halfway through was actually, I got this book and I started doing, different songs from the Legend of Zelda series, because that's obviously my favorite video game series, and, obviously you heard the songs at the beginning, and I think that they aren't that difficult, but they aren't that easy. I mean, some of them have very interesting themes. Some of them are very, very quite challenging, to be fair. I did the title theme, and I did the Song of Storms. I really struggled with Gerudo Valley. I mean, it's not like I can't play it, but I really struggled getting that up to the speed that I want it to be, or the speed that it plays at. And that's certainly something that I'll get back to next year once I have some time. I've tried it out and it's not that difficult anymore. I can really play that right now to a very good speed. I want to get it perfect, and that's the thing with me. I really spend my time trying to get something perfect. And if I can't get it perfect, then there's no point in saying that I've completed that. That's just the way I am. But like I said, this is for easy piano. I would say you can definitely challenge that. After 3-4 months, you can definitely play some pieces from here, but there are also pieces in here that require maybe a year or 2. So it's a very good book for beginners, but even if you're more experienced, you can always use the pieces and then expand on them. So I think it's a very good book. I would definitely recommend. I mean, obviously that depends on if you like the music in here. If you don't, then there's no point really. But I would definitely recommend it, because for me, Zelda has some of the best music, period. And that's why I usually recommend that. However, then we came to what I hate. Journey. I don't mind Journey. I know I said I hate it, but I don't really mind Journey. But the thing with that is that exercises, for me, they have to sound good. They have to sound good, as a piece of music actually. So it's something I can actually play back. And the thing with Cherney is, while it does sound much better than Hannen, which which I did at the same time as Cherney, I still do Hannen to this day, to be fair, because I really like Hannen. But with Cherney, it's just it's difficult. In terms, like, it's not easy. You can't just jump into it like you can with Hannen, where you can literally just spend 1 minute and you know what to play. With Cherney, you really can't do that, and it requires, it really helps you to sight read. I mean, that really helped me improve my sight reading, but it wasn't. It started off being fun, and then once you get halfway through, it's like that, and it's like, I'm not gonna spend my time reading, trying to sight read that. I'm not gonna spend my time trying to read that. Just for an exercise. So that was my thoughts on training. Maybe when my sight reading is much better, my actual reading is much better, I can actually challenge that. Currently, I'm about grade 2, grade 3 in terms of sight reading, but I think actually I know I'm a bit higher than that, to be fair. My sight reading is actually really good, which I'm actually really proud of, because I spend a lot of time trying to improve my sight reading. That is something that I always try and do, always. But then we get to my most beautiful book, and that is the Chopin collection. When I started playing the piano, right, I'll be honest with you, all I wanted to play was, I mean, there were a lot of songs that I wanted to play, a lot of pieces that I wanted to play, but there were about 5 main pieces that I really wanted to get to. One of them was the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata. One of them was Beethoven's third movement of the Appassionata. One of them was Chopin's Ballad in G minor. One of them was Gerudo Valley from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And the other one was, what was it called now? It's called, the other one was, I forgot the name now. The other one was La Campanella, that's the one. The one from Liszt, Paganini's Etude from Liszt, the La Campanella Etude. And yeah, obviously I knew of the Ballad in G minor. I heard that song in like so many shows, so many TV shows, so many movies, that it always stuck to me. But my main motivation was honestly the Moonlight Sonata. It was mainly Beethoven, because I really like Beethoven's first and third movements of his pieces, most of the sonatas, and I thought, you know what, that's brilliant, that's absolutely brilliant. But I started then playing Chopin because my piano teacher, he is a huge Chopin fan. So he started playing this piece. I was like, wow, that sounds really good. Let's try Chopin. So I've tried Chopin, and I have to say, I'm going to play a lot more Chopin. That's all I can say, really. I'm going to play a lot more Chopin. So that's my thoughts on Chopin. You can probably tell they're very positive. They're very positive thoughts. And that's where I am today. I mean, I've had another book, which was Piano Pieces for Children. I definitely recommend. I would definitely 100% recommend this book. And the reason for that is quite simple. It has pieces for beginners. Like I said, it even states at the beginning, progressively graded for teaching purposes. It says it right here at the beginning, which means that the first few pieces are very simple. Grade 1, as you can probably tell here, and then it ends at grade, I think grade 6. No, grade 4. I'm pretty sure it's much higher than that, because my teacher said that some of the pieces in here are grade 7. So yeah, he said that although it gets progressively harder, the grading isn't always that spot on. That's, for example, the beautiful Blue Danube. It doesn't look that difficult from here, from what I can see right now, but it would probably take me a lot of time to learn that. So I don't know how difficult it is. I can't really judge it. But ultimately, just because it has so many pieces, and so many pieces that you'll actually know. That's the most important thing. Not just pieces that you don't know, because that's you're like, yeah, I'm gonna really spend my time learning something that I don't know, and then halfway through I don't actually like the piece. I don't know. Whereas in here, it actually has pieces that you'll know from favorite composers, from very famous composers. So this is definitely a book that I would recommend. I haven't actually, because this is the third book. I haven't actually tried the first 2. But I'll definitely get to I'll definitely buy the first two once I've actually played a decent amount of pieces from here. Because so far I've done 2 pieces, and it's not that easy. It's honestly not. Maybe it's because I didn't pick the easiest pieces, but it's not that easy, right? That's all I can say. But I really, really, really like this book. I can't recommend that enough. Look into the future. Look into the future. That is what I'm planning on doing. Early next year. Early next year. So this is the grade 3 ABRSM piano exam piece. Yeah, I've got a lot of sight reading books in the back. You probably can't see that. It's right there, and another one is somewhere there. For grade 1 and grade 2, like I said, I've done a lot of sight reading. That's basically been the thing that I focus on most, with a lot of apps, with a lot of what are they called, microscopic pieces or whatever they're called. And ultimately, that's been the thing that I focus on the most, or I should focus on a lot, just because sight reading isn't something that you can just improve on instantly. It's obviously something that takes a lot of time, same as scales. So these are 2 things that I have tried to focus on quite a bit. But yeah, that's all there is from the first year. I'll see you guys in the second year, I guess. There is another book that I used, but I just can't find it right now, which is essentially very similar to the Alfred all-in-one course. So, it's a very it's a method book. It's a method book. Yeah, that's what it is. So it basically teaches you it teaches you how to play the keyboard, how to then play easier pieces. But the other book that I've got, it's mainly focused, and when I say mainly focused, I mean like 99% focused on classical music. So if you really want to get into classical music, and with very simple pieces, then obviously getting progressively more difficult, I would definitely recommend it. And I've got it, I can see it right now. It's called the Classical Piano Method Book #1, and I would definitely recommend that as well. Like I said, when I stopped doing this and I started doing other pieces, I actually went to that book, and I thought it was much more fun to do, but it doesn't go in depth as this one does. Obviously, with that many pages, you can kind of tell that that's gonna go in depth. Whereas the classical one, it does explain how to read notes. It does explain how things are formed, but it doesn't go in depth to the point where you know it off by heart. It teaches you it, and then it wants you to apply that to the scenario, to the piece and whatnot. So I'd say probably get both if you want. If you want something that's gonna get that you can spend 4, 5, 6 months on, depending obviously how long you're spending on that book, and then obviously you can have something just based on classical as well if you enjoy that. So that's what I'm saying. That's the first year here. The plans for the future, because obviously now that we looked at the past for quite a long time, let's look at the future now. In the future, in this year, or should I say next year, 2017 essentially. There are 3 things that I'm definitely gonna do, 2 things that I'm hoping to do, and 1 thing that I don't know whether I can do. So the 3 things that I'm definitely gonna do, as I already mentioned, I'm gonna do the Gerudo Valley full speed to the point where it's perfect. Second thing I'm going to do is, I wouldn't include, I'm not going to include that, but that's obviously doing the grade 3 exam, but I'm not going to include that just yet, because obviously that doesn't really count as doing a piece. That counts as multiple pieces and doing an exam. So the second thing I'm going to do, I am going to try to do Brahms Waltz, Johannes Brahms Waltz, Opus 39, number 9, because I think it just sounds amazing. I really do. And the third thing I want to do is play Chopin's Nocturne Opus 9, number 2, I believe. It's the, well, I've got so much things here, but it's the, it's that one, basically. It's basically one of the most famous pieces in the world. That's the third thing I'm going to do. Then the 2 maybes. I might, and this is being might, I might go back and try and do the first Moonlight Sonata, the actual version, not the simplified version, the actual version. That one isn't really that much of a challenge. I tried it. I played like the first page in like 2 days or so, and I was like, you know what? It's not that difficult. But am I gonna spend my time again trying to go through a piece that I've done obviously a simplified version, but I don't want to do the same piece over and over again. Just to get from a simplified version to an actual version. So I was like, yeah, maybe not now, maybe another time. So, and another thing that I really want to try, and I think that one is probably going to be the biggest challenge. I do want to challenge myself. That's the thing. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to do my grade 3 exam early this year. I'm hoping by the end of the year I'll probably be grade 5. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm aiming for. You know, you're supposed to be grade 5 after 5 years. I'm trying to do it after 2 years. Not like I'm competing with anything, but it's just the way I look at it. I do wanna. I don't wanna. Just be. Basically, I want to challenge myself essentially. So I'm planning on being grade 5 by the end of the year. But I'm also planning on having some grade 5, higher than grade 5 pieces in my repertoire. And the one piece that I want to do, and I don't know whether I can, probably not, I'll be totally honest here, probably not, but the one piece that I really want to focus on, which I'll probably start in like October, November, really late in the year, is the third movement of the Beethoven Appassionata. And like I said, I really love that piece. So I really want to play that. Obviously, I think it's like grade 7, something along grade 7. So that's a piece that I'm definitely hoping to get to, which probably is very unlikely, but I'm hoping to get to there. I mean, I did grade 3 and grade 4 pieces this year, so I'm not really complaining. But that's that. That is that. There are 2 pieces that I might want to get to as well, but I don't think I'll have that much time because obviously I'm doing quite a bit of challenging pieces. Like I said, I really want to try the Appassionata. I think I might need 2 to 3 months for that, so I don't really have that much time to try 2 other songs or 2 other pieces that are very, very, very difficult. But if I did have the time, I would definitely try to do. You see, I don't want to just stick with Chopin. That's the problem, because most songs I want to play right now are from Chopin. But I want to do one etude, and like I said, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that because I probably need like a good 3, 4, 5 months for an etude. Even for the easiest ones, but still, I ultimately I want to get to every single etude from Chopin and from Liszt. But there's also I want to get to Bach as well. I'm not the biggest fan. I'll be totally honest. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but yeah, it's very good. They're very good to have in your repertoire, and there are a few that sound really good. But overall, I'm not the biggest fan. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest fan. But overall, he's got some very good pieces. So that is what there is from me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you guys in a year or so with new and exciting pieces. When the year 2 is upon us. But this was year 1, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you then. Peace out and have a nice day. Bye.